Hello, welcome back here today. It's the F1 Manager Sim League Season 1, Round 19. And this is a big one. It's the Brazilian Sprint event. The championship is coming towards a close. We've got 5 more races after the race today. But yeah, it's all big stakes. Questions up and down the field. Who's going to finish where in the standings? It's going to get close. And that's what we're all up for, really. So yeah, let's get into it. It is round 19. And here is your sprint grid. Teo Porcher lines up on pole for this sprint race here today, with Valtteri Bottas lining up alongside him, the Haas. Then it's Charles Leclerc P3 with Oscar Piastri P4, Lewis Hamilton P5 for Sauber, as Lando Norris lines up in 6th position. Andrea Kimi Antonelli then helping his teammate out as much as possible. He's in 7th. Carlos Sainz 8th. Russell in 9th. Could be a big blow in this Drivers' Championship. But then Alex Albon in P10. Max Verstappen 11th. With Yuki Tsunoda in Mercedes 12th. Alonso 13th. Franco Colapinto in 14th. Pierre Gasly 15th. Liam Lawson in P16. With the 2 Alpines 17th and 18th. Daniel Ricciardo leading the 2, Oliver Behrman P19, and then Sergio Perez. It was a shock collar qualifying. He didn't actually set a proper lap, and therefore he lines up P20. But anyways, let's get into it.
24 laps around Sao Paulo in today's sprint.
Once the race starts, I'm going to quickly chuck it on pause so we can DNF my 2 drivers. Before they take too much impact in this race. Hello Rodrigo, how are you doing? And now we can say it's lights out and away we go. And into turn 1, Teo Porcher is going to hang on to the lead, but you can see just back there the 2 Red Bulls going wheel to wheel. Who's going to lead? Is it Perez? No, not Perez, Piastri, or is it going to be Charles Leclerc? Harry, you know. I know what. As anyways, Leclerc heading uphill. Rodrigo says, let's hope 4 points, as currently Mercedes have gone backwards on this start. They started 12th and 14th, they're now 12th and 15th. As anyways, Teo Porcher marches up the hill now. He's going to already have a momentous lead in this 24 lap sprint race. He's already got 1.6 seconds in the bag, as DRS is now enabled. Hopefully we will see an overtake get triggered here by at least one driver, surely. As we can see there, it is, I want to say, no moves at all. Maybe Perez and Behrman. But not much happening at all really so far this race. It's going to be a slow burner, as Bottas has drawn himself back within DRS range of the race lead. Isaac Hadjar hit with a mechanical fault. To the inside goes Bottas, and he will take the lead here in the sprint. Haas been in really good form as of recent. If they can continue this, they could possibly amount a charge up the standings, as there is Hamilton overtaking Piastri, as there's a yellow flag. Looks like it was for Carlos Sainz who had a lock up. Let's have a look.
Now we're watching Carlos Sainz.
It's DRS, he's
going smoothly,
just dragging himself along.
And the car just locks.
Then he locks up into turn 4, goes off, plumps down the field a bit. And he joins. Fairly clumsy mistake by the man in the Williams. But anyways, we continue as Porcher now setting up a replica of the lap 1 move on Bottas. He goes to the inside of the Haas. He's ahead before braking, and that's easy does it, but Bottas is going to try and fight back through the S's, and now DRS back in play to the inside, and back up into the lead goes Bottas. Gives Porcher a little squeeze, but Porcher says it's game on, as he had a little try up through the De La Salle and Laranja. But anyways, we just wait now. Leclerc having pressure put on by Lewis Hamilton. Could there be a move inbound for the Sauber, who doesn't dart to the inside, which is a semi-surprise? But you can see back there, just as Bottas and Porsche are fighting, Antonelli and Norris are. As Antonelli to the inside, no move there. But it's a massive mess. As you can see, Piastri and Leclerc following single file, Norris trying to have a move on one of them. It's just going to be a very hectic sprint race. As you can already see, there's plenty of cars weaving around trying to find a way past one another. But the big dynamic is Bottas versus Porsche. Porsche to the outside this time for turn 1. Bottas fends off. Looks like Porsche gets another dose of DRS. He's going to use it down into turn 4, and surely it's done the move. But no, Bottas does hang on. As you can see there's Leclerc having a little look at Hamilton, but ends up being squeezed out. And that move has been disintegrated quite well by the 7-time world champion. As now, Porsche. This is going to be a very repetitive theme all weekend. Top 2 just swapping places. There's Porsche, and he is back up into the lead here. As we are going to see many more moves like that. As it's only lap 7 of 24, but there you go. You had a brief moment 3 wide, Norris, Leclerc, Piastri. Leclerc ended up sitting in the middle, best way to put it. As yeah, currently the top 2 have their own little fight. Then there's a little queue from 3rd down to P11. As you can see here, Max Verstappen all over the back end of Alex Albon as they attempt to fight for placement here. As one, how do I have a mechanical problem? Skill issue. That I honestly don't know, but yeah. As into this race, there is a confirmation of a rule change. As of next season, there will be 15 point scoring positions up for grabs in the main race and 10 for the sprint. So hopefully we will see more competition. But anyways, there's Norris losing the place to Lewis Hamilton. As there's Bottas round the outside in turn 4. Beautiful move. And now the Haas leads, as it's a V-carb 2-3. Last time Bottas led a sprint race, it was the 2 Ferraris on the podium with him for most of the race. This time it's the 2 V-carbs, really showing how they are trying to get their revenge in the constructors and work their way back up towards the top. As you can just see into the view, it was Porsche. So only 15th, 16th, 17th, what's that? It's only 16th to 20th, no points. No. 1st to 15th score points, then 16th to 20th don't score points. That's how it will be done for next season. And then in the sprint it will be 1st down to 10th. But anyways, Valtteri Bottas to the inside of Teo Porsche. We're about to hit the halfway stage, just one more lap then we are there. And Bottas seems to be leading into it, but Porsche will fight back as he promotes himself back into the lead. Well, in the meantime his teammate, he started 6th, he's up in 4th at the moment, as they have just brought themselves nicely into DRS range. Question is, will they hang on? If they don't, then they may fail. But anyways, I keep pressing send by accident, so send unfinished messages, that's fair enough. As Norris has overtaken Hamilton. Leclerc and Piastri, however, went wheel to wheel for a moment there, as there was Piastri trying to cover off, but wasn't able to. But anyways, it's just a massive snake here. As you can see, Alex Albon still duelling with Max Verstappen over P9 here. Come on, Daniel, says Louis. He is in P15 and slowly working his way up through the field. Where is his teammate? He's 5 seconds off the rest of the pack, so safe to assume he ain't in the race. As there's Porsche now to the outside. As Norris, beautiful coordination by VCarb, one car either side, and they got 2 moves done into that corner. As it's now a VCarb 1-2 here in the sprint. Teo Porsche, arguably in the form of his life, as he has had numerous wins since the halfway stage. If I'm right, he's had the most wins since Singapore about 6 races ago, just showing how strong he is at the moment, as he's dueling Lando Norris now for the lead, and the new TPFX Sauber both in points. No, this is a sprint race, so the Sauber only have one car in points at the moment, but the other one is fighting on the outskirts of it. Alex Albon versus Max Verstappen for P8, with Andrea Kimi Antonelli and Yuki Tsunoda just in the back burner ready to pounce when it comes into play, as there is Verstappen up into P8. Now you can say the Sauber new TP effect is in play, as it's a really big kerfuffle into turn 4. I may have started typing before Max got overtaken. That is fair enough. As Oscar Piastri hit with a mechanical fault. Let's hope he can stay in the points here though, as there are 10 laps to go, soon to be 9 laps to go, as Piastri starting to drop off on the lead group. And now George Russell, beautiful move there, just around the outside, and he's ahead and gets DRS, which is a double whammy there really. But now Norris leads down into turn 4. Is Porsche going to go for a move? He has a look to the inside, but thought better. But who did go for a move is that Sauber you have just seen on your screen, finishing off the move. And now Antonelli trying to fight back, but Alex Albon swoops through and takes P8 once more. The Williams driving for points as if it's the last thing that matters for him. As, to be honest, it is the last thing that matters. He has really struggled against Sainz all season, as he's demoted back out. He struggled against Sainz all season. Sainz has about 50 points in the bag. Albon only has 3, 4. So yeah, that second Williams really working for his seat next season, as it could be very much at risk with how dominant his teammate has been in that pairing. But anyways, you have Verstappen now regaining P8 here. This is a really, really tight fight as we are entering the final 7 laps of this race. It's a lap 18 of 24. There's action up top, there's action over the last point. I don't really know who to follow, but we will follow this for a while longer, as it's Albon versus Verstappen over P8. Verstappen hangs on for a while longer, as Antonelli still just sitting in the background waiting to pounce, as Perez hasn't really made too much ground up in this race. He started last. He's currently only 14th, as there's a yellow flag out on track. I can't tell what it was for. It was Sergio Perez running wide in turn 12, as there's Franco Colapinto trying to overtake Albon, but not at all. As anyways, let's work our way back up towards the foreground. It's a 5-car fight here for the win. It's across 4 different constructors: VCarb, Haas, Sauber and Red Bull. The only constructor not to have got a race win so far this season is Sauber, but they look very much like the underdogs, as Hamilton tries to squeeze himself past Valtteri Bottas, yet unable to, but he's going to keep fighting. Turn 4, Hamilton up into 3rd, as the 2 VCarbs squabble. Lando Norris will lead the pairing along onto lap 21 at least, as Hadjar, more severe mechanical fault, really not helping Alpine at all today, as Ricciardo really has dropped out of the fight for a point, as Porsche down the inside, easy move to be honest. VCarb really taking it easy on each other, as there's Norris jolting to the inside to cover off Hamilton. Bottas is going to loop round the outside and move up into P3 here. The Haas, excellent composure to regain that podium position against the Sauber. As currently an update on the fight for the last point, Antonelli has got it so far. If I'm right, he is one of the 2 drivers without a point so far this season, and that is being Andrea Kimi Antonelli and Isaac Hadjar. But anyways, 3 laps to go now. Bottas has moved himself up into the top 2. It's an amazing chance to push a bit more towards Porsche and maybe even spoil the VCarb's party, as they have led most of this race. But could Valtteri Bottas go and take the win? In a crucial stage of the championship, they are in a fight with Aston Martin for the constructors of about P6. There's Bottas to the inside onto the penultimate lap, and he's moved up. As you can see, big kerfuffle, 3 wide, Hamilton squeezing Norris out, Leclerc going to have to try and fight back. But anyways, Bottas versus Porsche, Bottas up into first, Hamilton, amazing guts there to move the Sauber up into P3. Louis says Hadjar is officially washed, as there is a VSC, as it looks like it's Sergio Perez and Liam Lawson. It's now a full course safety car here to end the sprint race. Valtteri Bottas is going to win it, as that is Sergio Perez, who has contact from Lawson. They both got off and into the wall, as that is both of their races over. But it's a full course safety car now, meaning Valtteri Bottas enters the final lap leading, no overtaking, so he will win. And then it will be Porsche, Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Piastri, Andrea Kimi Antonelli to score his first point of the season, as long as he can make it to the line. Max Verstappen 9th, Albon 10th, Yuki 11th, Colapinto 12th, Alonso 13th, 14th Sainz, 15th Behrman, 16th Ricciardo, 17th Gasly, 18th Hadjar, 19th Lawson, who has just served a penalty of his own. But anyways, safety car is ending just so Bottas can cross the line and take the win in this sprint race. As they go up to the line now, and it will be Valtteri Bottas who wins, and that's a very easy way to win this sprint. It was chaos,
Today's sprint winner
and still chaos
Bottas.
unravelled till the end, where it saw Perez, who'd done a lot of work to work his way back up to about P14 in the sprint, to crash out with Lawson and put his race to an end prematurely, but still basically at the end anyways, as we just wait for Liam Lawson to cross the line now, which he has done, and then we will move on to a quick sim of the quali, and then a race sim. But yeah, there are your results for the sprint. Valtteri Bottas wins, Terry Porsche second, Lewis Hamilton in third, Lando Norris fourth, Charles Leclerc fifth, George Russell sixth, Oscar Piastri in seventh, Andrea Kimi Antonelli sits comfortably in eighth, Verstappen ninth, Albon 10th, Tsunoda 11th, Colapinto in 12th, Alonso 13th, Sainz down 6th and 14th, Behrman 15th, Ricciardo 16th, Gasly 17th, Hadjar 18th, Lawson last of the finishers, and Sergio Perez out of the race.
Hello and welcome.
As how I do quali is I manage session, but I do not let cars go out. So you can actually watch Q1 in a very, very dynamic track map and just watch the chaos with me. But yeah, anyways, it's just a very simple sim. of the session. It's also quite nice seeing who goes out in the first group if there's any big shocks. As currently it seems to be Piastri who could be a big shock in this session, but fairly quickly covered up. As currently Norris and Verstappen yet to do a lap. They have done so now. Russell and Verstappen both in the bottom 7 or so. So they are at risk of going out here. Gonna have to use another set of softs or dries to do it. Russell doesn't come out again. So if one of the bottom 4 improve, which Colin has done,
it's the Haas that's affected there.
Russell then goes quicker. Antonelli crashed on turn 10. We'll have a look at that, as that's put the session to the end. Antonelli into the cut, into the wall. But anyways, George Russell out in the first part of qualifying. Yuki Tsunoda is taking a grid penalty as well. But there's George Russell, P17. He is out of the first part. However, here is your grid. It's Oscar Piastri on pole. He started the season from pole. He's here in Brazil taking his first pole since, with Charles Leclerc second, Verstappen third, Perez fourth, Porsche fifth, Bottas sixth, Hamilton seventh, Sainz eighth, Norris in ninth, Behrman 10th, Yuki 11th with the grid drop, Colapinto and Lawson 12th, 13th, Alonso 14th, Ricciardo 15th, so he wasn't out in Q1, Gasly 16th, Russell 17th, Albon 18th, Antonelli 19th, and Hadjar last of the bunch. But yeah, that is qualifying done for Sao Paulo, and now you have 71 laps of chaos here. Who do you think will get the win? My money is honestly on a Sauber for some reason. It's a bit delulu, but it'd be nice to see a Sauber win.
Well, it's great to have you
fill
with
it
us,
up a
folks,
bit more.
as
We've
we
had a
settle in
Haas
for the
win, we've had a
weekend
Red Bull
Grand Prix
win,
action.
a Ferrari win, and a
And
V-Carb win.
here's George Russell settling in for the race.
We'd like to see a fifth constructor tonight.
Who will win?
Or we could even see a
Time will
first
tell.
win
Here at the
of
Sao
the season
Paulo
for the
Grand Prix.
likes of Oscar Piastri.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
As there have been a few more grid drops, as Verstappen's now in front row, Charles Leclerc took a grid drop. Quite a few names took a grid drop, to be fair. But yeah, let's quickly retire my 2 cars. But yeah, it seems like it's going to be a busy race, to say the least. Leclerc taking a further grid drop, promoting Verstappen to the front row. But Piastri, great start. Oops, I accidentally paused it. But yeah, Piastri, amazing start. He leads to Verstappen, to Perez. And you can see back there is Lando Norris trying to already make places up. He's up into P7 now against Hamilton, but Hamilton's going to keep fighting back. The former Mercedes 7-time world champion versus V-Carb championship leader. And it's Lando Norris who moves up into P7 here. As Sainz has had a very good start as well. He's in P6. He's standing strong. But Oscar Piastri, just like in Australia, just like in Japan, he finished the first lap leading. Is he going to win though? That's not confirmed. But it would be nice to see another race winner, especially in the latter stages of championship where Piastri is starting to struggle. The Red Bulls had a downtake in form since round 2 and they're trying to recover, and this would be a great way to show Piastri is recuperating and recovering from the setback earlier this season, which he hasn't really been the same driver since the first 2 races. As anyways, Verstappen fastest lap he's going to get some DRS down into Hunsao. Not Hunsao, La Salle. But wasn't able to get moved on. He's going to continue the fight though against Oscar Piastri. They're going to just follow the cars round in a single file line and then go at it into turn 1 more than anything. But we see Lando Norris getting a bit, how do I say it, a bit frisky behind Sainz, as Verstappen has already cleared Piastri, who will then get DRS, who wasn't able to make a move either way. But Charles Leclerc, fastest lap of the race so far. He is really setting the bar at the moment, as you can see basically the whole field right on the back of these lot. As Behrman fighting with Lawson over P10. It would be nice to see double points from McLaren here. But then, is it going to happen? As there's a yellow flag out on track, we can't see what it is, but it's Lewis Hamilton running wide. Nothing too major. But we can see what that's done for Hamilton. He's fighting Colapinto here. He's out of DRS range, and Colapinto is going to get more DRS to the inside for turn 4, and it's Colapinto up into P8. But you can see Hamilton continuing to fight up the hill, and he's just got better traction, which therefore gives him 8th place in this race. As currently a very nice figure to look at. The top 6 split by 6 teams. The top 10 split by 8. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting race. As you can see, there's Sainz overtaking Sergio Perez 4P4, whilst Verstappen made a move for the lead here. Oscar Piastri's to the inside, and surely it's the lead now. They're going to continue fighting up the hill into Laranja, but Verstappen gets the move settled. He's going to hold on to the lead in this race. And now we just wait for the next opportunity, coming in literally a corner's time. As now, up the hill, who's got better traction? Piastri's going to get DRS on Verstappen. It's going to be a drag race up into turn 1. Is Piastri far enough ahead? He's going to fight through turn 1 and 2. Looks like he's going to get another dose of DRS here though. He will do so. And Porsche is going to follow through as well for his sake. He tries fighting Verstappen, but Verstappen says, I'm only losing 1 place today, mate. And holds on to P2 in that Sauber. As, I don't know where or how, but Sauber's had a massive upgrade in the last race. Literally, last time out, they're fighting around bottom of the points. And now here, they are out there to win with the likes of Verstappen, Hamilton in sprint, as you just saw there, the two McLarens swapping places around. As it's still quite compact, to say the least. Last time we saw it like this, it was probably Monza or Austria. There was just a level pegging down the field. But yeah, it's rather nice to see how close the field spread is, and how one bad quali session can really change up the championship. Because you could see there, look, George Russell struggling to work his way through the Alpine of Daniel Ricciardo. As you see there, Bottas overtaking Sainz to promote the Haas into P5. Norris then following through, but Sainz defending nicely. As yeah, currently the biggest gap between two cars is about 8 tenths, 9 tenths. So it's just one massive queue around this circuit as they wait to see who can overtake. As Behrman has had a lock-up. That's him plummeting down the field as Verstappen takes the lead here on lap 10 of 71. We've still got 7 times the race distance left to go. We've only done a 7th of it. As there's Porsche trying to move himself into the top 2. He hasn't been able to do so far this race. It's really been a one-side story between Piastri and Verstappen. But that's the joy of DRS train. As Verstappen has started to drop off, Piastri has started to put the foot down. As there's Porsche up into P2. Is Perez going to even go for it? Yes, he will, and that's Perez P3 now. Is Bottas going to even have a say into turn 4? He has a look, but doesn't manage to. As Porsche has made very quick moves, as he's now leading this race, whereas a lap ago it was Verstappen who was leading through this stage. And that driver's now P4, being threatened over Bottas, however, for that 4th place. As we'll go back here, Daniel Ricciardo and Andrea Kimi Antonelli fighting up through the hill. Russell's almost in the points here, you can see, but just further back, Charles Leclerc also trying to work his way up through the field. He, of course, had a grid drop, putting him last on the grid. There's going to be Ricciardo to the inside of Alonso. No, not able to. Alonso still P13 after losing place to Antonelli into turn 1. But irrespective of that, we have got a race on our hands. George Russell, seeing how many points he can avoid losing in this in this Drivers' Championship, it's going to be beneficial. But Piastri fastest lap, he's really setting the baseline here as Hamilton's moved himself up into 8th place now. As you can see there, Verstappen starting to work his way back through the field. He's up into P4 now. As it's currently Porsche versus Perez versus Piastri. Fun part about it is Porsche and Perez are fighting over 3rd in this championship. The other man in that fight is down in P14. That's Charles Leclerc, Isaac Hadjar. Another mechanical fault to partner George Russell in that little field of drivers with him. As there's the Haas and V-Carb fighting over P5. The Haas, however, standing strong and even pushing himself back up into P4. That's what I was trying to say. As Verstappen lost the place on Norris on the exit as well, and now Carlos Sainz, the Williams, so close to getting the move done as well, which made it even more concerning as Hamilton is starting to claw himself back within DRS range of that kerfuffle for 4th. As there's Norris up into P4, Oscar Piastri and Théo Pourchaire having a little switcheroo over placement, as there's Pourchaire trying to fight back through turn 4. Wasn't able to. Sergio Perez, just like Antonelli was in the sprint, in the back burner, as Liam Lawson has had a crash by the looks of it, or a very big spin, as it says. Let's have a look. He's in 9th at the moment, then he just drops the ball and you can just see the whole race disappearing in front of his eyes, and that's really nice placement. You can see a nice bit of Qatar Airways sponsorship, which is not at all a sponsor for this league. But anyways, Perez trying to fight Porsche now into turn 1. Perez on the inside, Porsche on the outside. That swaps a lot because turn 3 is just corner after corner, but Perez will get place and he's going to even go for a move for the lead over the Red Bull of Oscar Piastri. Is the Red Bull going to stand strong though? No, he won't, as it will be Théo Pourchaire sitting in 3rd, Perez 2nd and Pourchaire in the lead on lap 16 so far. As Lawson has triggered the first pit stop, we can have a look at tyre wear. Quite a few are planning to pit soon, hopefully, due to it, but you can see just in the background Bottas fighting off Norris, who's actually burned off his tyres quite a fair bit. As there's Norris back up into P4. Can that RB work his way up through the field, because Russell is making more of a dent in this race. The 2nd Ferrari in P10, 2nd RB in P5, the 2 title rivals as well. Norris needs to work his way through the field now. As into the pits goes Porsche, Bottas, Sainz, Antonelli and Leclerc so far, with Ricciardo joining in, as that's going to be the main part of chaos for this race, the strategy conflict. Who goes more risky with it? But you can see here Behrman under threat by Pierre Gasly, who promotes himself into P11 here. As yeah, that is the Mercedes into 11th place. Obviously not going to be points at all, as they are yet to pit. Fastest lap for the Ferrari of Perez. Tsunoda fighting Colapinto to the outside he goes. Is he going to beat the Argentine in his closest to home fans? Yes, he will. Yuki Tsunoda up into P7 for the Mercedes team, as it's currently the back two in the constructors fighting on track for 7th, but provisionally for about 12th or whatever. As there's Hamilton who's had a crash. You can have a proper look. You could see it as the two of Yuki and that were fighting.
Big hit on the left rear.
Big hit on the left rear, Hamilton says. There was not contact at all. But anyways, race is back underway. Hamilton's back on track. But there's Alex Albon moving himself up into P8 and overtaking Hamilton, which really does show he is probably out of this race. As into the pits goes Hamilton. For those who are new to the channel and watching this for the first time, it's an F1 sim league where I have 10 people make teams in game. I then commentate it because I'm sad. But yeah, that's the best way to put it. And today's round 19, you've missed the sprint where Valtteri Bottas won after Sergio Perez crashed out. In the main race, Perez is currently leading, however yet to pit. The leader of those who have pitted, if I'm right, is Terry Pourchaire. So they are the main two to look at. And yeah, that's a good summary. The current driver's fight is between Norris and Russell as well, to point out, as Daniel Ricciardo's just got fastest lap. I'm rebuilding Alpine for next season because I can't watch them for another second. That is fair enough, and that's partially why I'm not showcasing them much on the track. However, what we can see, if you add a bit of salt to your wounds this season, you're in, if I'm right, 8th in the standings. So it's not been too bad of a season, but the car has definitely been the slowest of the field for the most part. Maybe McLaren. But now you can see Franco Colapinto lining up a move on Daniel Ricciardo for what was 15th, now 13th, and Colapinto gets it done. But Ricciardo's going to fight back without DRS. Colapinto gets it done with DRS. Max undercut. Yeah, somewhat. I'd say so. No, not really. Max only just pit. Everyone else ahead of him has. So, well, everyone ahead apart from likes of Tsunoda and Norris. Just had fuel to the fire. Yeah. Colapinto fastest lap if you want a bit more salt to your wounds. As yeah, Antonelli also making a move on Alonso. Almost everywhere I'm looking at this current moment there is an overtake, as Sergio Perez pits from the lead. Théo Pourchaire going through the final corner now. Who is going to come out ahead, Perez or Pourchaire? That is your question today. Pourchaire overtaking Yuki Tsunoda, but Tsunoda is going to fight back as Pourchaire DRS gets the deal done, and Perez is behind Yuki, and therefore obviously behind the RB, as you could see them running up the hill. As Alex Albon trying to get better traction on Lewis Hamilton. We saw a lovely fight over the last point in the sprint race between not Hamilton, Verstappen and Albon, as Norris and Piastri have pitted. Where does Norris come out compared to George Russell is a fairly big question, as Norris has came out P10, Russell P11, yellow flags out on track. I believe that's for Hamilton, as it's a very good crash involving multiple cars. Alex Albon, DRS on the Sauber. He goes for a move down the inside, hits Hamilton, loses his front wing, Hamilton goes off. Honestly, based off how the game works, that's going to be a penalty for Alex Albon. As currently Carlos Sainz. It's been a good drive, but who's had a better drive is Charles Leclerc. He pitted earlier than most. He was in P15 when he pitted. He is now in the top 5. He has even overtaken one of the 2 main title contenders of George Russell through the undercut. He has also overtaken the other one, who was an extra 10 or so seconds down the road, of Lando Norris. That just shows the extent of how strong an undercut is in this race, as it can literally take you from 15th to 5th in 7 laps. Bottas now mechanical fault, as there's Piastri to the outside of Verstappen, Alex getting a pen for Lewis doing a Mazepin into him. No, Albon went down the inside, hit Hamilton, went wide. Yeah, that's more Albon's fault, but yeah. Anyways, Norris fighting Antonelli over P9 here. Norris's race really has gone sour. He was 4th when the pit stop started. After the pit stops have finished for now, he's in 10th. And there's quite a lot more work to do. He is 12 seconds off the lead, as that is currently swapping around between Porsche and Sergio Perez. As this is really a fight over who gets 3rd in the constructors. Leclerc's, no, not constructors, drivers, as Leclerc, his result so far here could make or break. Based off his strategy so far, it's going to make it, as it's an amazing drive. Just curious, how long do these strings take? For a normal race, about 50 minutes. For a sprint event, about an hour and 20, I'd say. An hour and 10 to an hour and 20. So yeah, you've got at least another half hour of this chaos. But that is reasonable, as you've still got about half a race to go. But yeah, there is Perez overtaking for the lead here. Leclerc overtaking for the final podium position. Just shows how the main title fight has had a minor step back into the back burner this race. As, yeah, it's primarily between the main fight over 3rd, to say the least. But this is their race more than anything. More specifically, these two, Porsche and Perez, as Porsche moves up into the lead of this race. But yeah, they lose it quite quickly. George Russell, mechanical fault. That's going to help Norris, as he's still stuck behind Alonso and Antonelli, as Antonelli has just made easy work for Norris, as he's just carved his way through Alonso and left the hole open. So yeah, now hopefully this is Norris's time to shine, Norris's opportunity to get P8 and build a gap over George Russell. To the inside goes Norris, and it is P8, but will Antonelli fight back? There's a fair chance he does. There's also a fair chance he doesn't, but Antonelli doesn't. As yeah, despite all that, 3rd down to 7th, Leclerc, Bottas, Sainz, Verstappen, Piastri. And it's safe to say, quite soon, Lando Norris and maybe Antonelli, as they are starting to work quite efficiently on catching, as there's Piastri trying to get past Max Verstappen. It's crazy to think these two, the Sauber and Red Bull, 6th and 7th, started 1-2 in this race. And now they're fighting outside the top 5, as Piastri has moved himself up into 6th. What's even more insane is Piastri started pole, Charles Leclerc started last of all the valid drivers, and Leclerc is on the podium, but Piastri isn't even in the top 5. That just shows how Leclerc is the Red Bull Golden Boy this season, as Bottas has made a move for P3 here. So I may want to retract that statement, as Piastri has made it a 4-5 for Red Bull, which really means I've just had to swallow up both statements I've made about Piastri and Leclerc, as now they are very much on level terms. Still irrespective, Leclerc did start about 10 odd seconds back in this race from Piastri, and he's now on par. So yeah. As now into turn 1, Piastri P5. Just a bit of clicking, as yeah, because I'm checking some of my Discord pings while you can just see the chaos unraveling around. Oh yeah, okay. Piastri. Could he go to the inside of Sainz? No. Sainz still wiping the floor at Williams is a safe way to put it, as Albon's in 13th with a penalty. Make it 14th. Make it 15th actually for Albon, as he's just been swallowed up by both Mercedes through the first sector of this lap. As you can see now, Tsunoda and Gasly fighting. As to the outside, I don't know why I've exaggerated outside so much, but it was a very tight squeeze between two Mercedes. It is full out war here for P13 as Tsunoda overtakes his teammate. Yellow flags out on track. It's for the Bearman, but it's a labelled crash involving multiple cars. So let's have a look. Valtteri Bottas P17 on the outside of Bearman. They make contact. Bearman goes off. Bottas says, "What the fuck?" So yeah, that's a very, very, very intriguing interaction. But Bottas really hasn't had a race to remember. He started in top 5 and now he's P16. It's very much like how Leclerc's had a race to remember, as Bearman has been issued a penalty. Alex Albon in the pits, you can see a stop go unravel as they chuck tyres back on. Very dodgy animation, but yeah, you get the gist. As Albon rejoins this race in a place he's been a fair few times this season, and that's plumb last. But anyways, Antonelli now pits as Porsche and Perez duel in the first sector.
Now down to the pits.
Antonelli has had a pit stop issue, which is not good at all. He just picked up his first points of the season last time out, as Perez is attempting to win 2 in a row. Porsche trying to stop him. Perez won in Mexico last time out. Porsche so close to winning here currently, as what have we just seen?
There's a yellow flag now.
Hadjar spin. That looked very dramatic. But yeah, that is Hadjar round. I can't lie, that gave me a shock for a moment. I just saw a car flying off the road. But yeah, Porsche DRS on Perez now. Surely going to be close enough. Not close enough to send a move. But now, preparation through the middle now. Up into turn 4. Will it be? No. Perez hangs on quite nicely. as we tune into the fight over third place, which is your final podium position. Oscar Piastri out to the outside, and he's overtaking Charles Leclerc now. This is where Piastri doesn't look as shambolic as he would be, for the basis Leclerc started last and he's now up into P4, and Piastri started pole and he's down in P3. But there is Leclerc defending off Lando Norris, as George Russell, safe to assume, isn't getting anywhere this race, as Ricciardo has just dropped out of the points, but continuing to fight against Yuki. Ricciardo is now safely back into P10, as Hadjar has just been lapped by the top 5-ish, as there's Leclerc, tried to go to the inside, but no. But yeah, it's very, very difficult to work out who's the main talking point in a race like this, where strategy's coming into play, championships are at stake, especially George Russell's, as P9 compared to Norris's P6. It's going to be a fairly big shunt, but it's been a good recovery drive to bring him back in. As you can have a look at tyre percentages, quite a few pit stops coming in the next few laps, I can tell you that. As Porsche now leaves the pit, he's going to be behind Alonso and should be safely ahead of George Russell. So that's a good place to bring yourself back into the race, especially when you're trying to undercut the Ferrari's teammate who is behind you. As Norris overtaking Verstappen there. As Perez now pits, is Porsche's outlap strong enough? If it isn't, then he's in danger, as Charles Leclerc also files into the pit lane as Lawson's leaving it into turn 1. Looks like Perez has very much handled it with care. Russell fastest lap of the race as well, probably because he's got a car in sight. And now Sergio Perez still provisionally first, so Porsche comes out behind him. The undercut for one lap didn't work too much. As can Leclerc utilise his undercut and come out ahead, as you see there. Perez just trying, no, not Perez, Piastri trying to overtake Norris. The two Mercedes, however, have got Charles Leclerc on brand spanking new tyres. To the inside goes Leclerc. P8 is his. Is he going to make a quick move on Yuki Tsunoda as well? He's got a bit more DRS. He doesn't manage to get it done on Yuki, but he's going to try it uphill. No, he won't. As yeah, this has been a very, very interesting race, to say the least, as Norris and Piastri and Verstappen all pit. Where do they come out compared to Charles Leclerc? Leclerc going through the first few corners now. He's going to come out ahead of Piastri, and Yuki's even ahead. But look at how chaotic it is out there now. The two Mercedes, who are out on old tyres, in the paths of the cars who want to make their way through the field. As Piastri now P6, while Leclerc's P4, as Porsche and Perez trying to fight Alonso for the lead, who is yet to pit. It is going to be Porsche who leads now, Perez continuing to fight. If Alonso can hang on, even just for another lap, it would have been crucial, but Perez just gets past very swiftly into turn 6. And now the top two can continue their charge for the race win. Well, Piastri, Norris and Sainz can start a charge. I realise why Hadjar's so bad. How come? And now Piastri up into well, not up into P4, holding on to P4 against Lando Norris, who's going to go to the inside. Surely a move. Yeah, easy done. P4 for Lando Norris. So, because his rating is awful. Are you saying about in-game or based off the spreadsheet I've rendered for next season? If it's spreadsheet I've made for next season, yeah. I personally think he's took a heavy shunt in his rating. He was about 75 in game, he's about 72 now, I think. But yeah, Piastri currently still in a squabble with Lando Norris for P4. Carlos Sainz has took a step back quite massively. He's in P6 with Verstappen about 2 seconds off in P7. As Antonelli has got Fernando Alonso for company and George Russell. I am back. A very quick departure. Just because parents called me for something, but yeah. We are back on board with this race. Lando Norris has just overtaken Charles Leclerc for P3 now. As Terry Pourchaire trying to work his way past his championship rival of Sergio Perez. He's got quite a few points to work back in this title fight due to back-to-back DNFs in Canada and Miami. I may keep Daniel, but definitely replacing Isaac. That's fair. Don't blame you. But one thing to look at is in the journalism section, rumours. See whether or not Ricciardo is rumoured for retirement. There are 3 names. And they are Fernando Alonso, Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez, which could very much spice up the pecking order for next season. I'm already telling you that it's going to be a busy transfer window. Don't expect any of the teams to stay the same. 1 or 2 may, but who knows. As Porsche tries to go around the outside of Perez, Perez really trying to end his possible career with a bang. But yeah. Porsche leads, Perez second, then Norris in third. It's very big points for VCarb. As George Russell is only down in P9. You can see here he's right behind Fernando Alonso. Have you only just seen that message now? What one? The one about keeping Ricciardo? If so, yeah, about 2 laps ago. Maybe your stream lag, but yeah. Because there's usually about 15 seconds in it, maybe longer. So just check if it's refreshed fully or not. But yeah, Norris to the inside on Charles Leclerc wasn't able to get past. Leclerc hangs on, but Norris, DRS again, second time's a charm. It's usually third, but in the sense of this circuit it's a second due to back-to-back DRS zones. And he's got moved on, so has George Russell on Fernando Alonso. The Ferrari now free to hunt his next opponent. As you can have a look at tyre wears, it's safe to assume everyone's going to the end. Andrea Kimi Antonelli very much in for a shot at points again. He scored last event, which was the sprint. He's currently 10th now. As George Russell really stuck behind Alonso. They're just fighting it out now. duking it out for position. Surely that Ferrari is quick enough to overpower in a sense and build an advantage. But yeah, Russell still fighting it out with Alonso. Is Alonso going to recover? No, not yet. As for those who are new to this stream or just joined, lap 58 of 71, Valtteri Bottas won the sprint race. Antonelli picked up his first point of the season. Russell had a shock horror main race quali. He qualified 17th, but then promoted to 16th after Charles Leclerc took a grid drop. And now it's Porsche versus Perez, whilst, yeah, Leclerc versus Norris. But what we have seen, George Russell's just been slammed with the highest tier of mechanical fault. Is this his championship over? You can see he is plummeting away. Does he power on? Or does he bring it into the pits? He's into the pits. It is safe to assume George Russell is out. And that is the Ferrari's championship practically gone, is the best way to put it. That's going to be so painful for Ferrari, knowing that they could win the drivers, and they are very much in for a shot at the constructors as well. 2 fatal blows, whilst Russell's championship leader in P3, currently fighting over it with Charles Leclerc. And then in terms of constructors, both V-carbs could be getting a podium. Best way to minimise it is if this Ferrari behind Porsche can get back-to-back wins here in Brazil. But at the moment, it doesn't really look it. They're very much level as there's a crash. It's a virtual safety car. It's all gone wrong for Ferrari here. I've just put my commentator's curse on it. As I said, the best way to do it is if Perez wins, and he is now out of the race. Sergio Perez, incident with Terry Porsche, fighting over the lead here. They make contact in turn 2, and Perez slams into the wall. Both Ferraris out of the race here. And now, it's very safe to assume it's a V-carb 1-2. Which is 43 points in the bag against Ferrari. And it's a full safety car by the look of it. I can't really tell because the dots came out. But it's still in pit exit. But yeah, you can see now Hamilton right behind and the safety car as Porsche 5-second penalty now, as that's a crash which could determine numerous titles, as out Porsche comes and he's going to be P7, but it's a big opportunity for underdogs to get points, as Porsche is going to be on freshest tyres out of all in the top 10. So keep an eye out on him. This can go one or two ways now. Either really well for Porsche or really bad. But for those wondering why it's a safety car, if you've been watching since start, you've probably lived under a rock for the last 45 minutes. But it's because the 2 race leaders, Porsche and Perez, made contact in turn 2. Perez slammed into the wall and he went out. It all happened a lap after George Russell retired from the race from mechanical failure. So yeah, 2 very big blows in this championship. For Ferrari. But yeah, now we wait for the safety car to come in. When that does happen, we will get, I want to say, at least 5 laps of racing here in Brazil. I also believe that the lapped cars should also be getting let past during the course of this safety car before it does come back in. And that's only Lawson and Hadjar. Lawson behind Verstappen, Hadjar at the back of it all. Or in the middle of it all, is the better way to put it. There's Tavares. But yeah. We'll just keep on Tavares for a bit longer. As lapped cars are now allowed to overtake. That means Liam Lawson here overtakes safety car. Isaac Hadjar also working his way past now to overtake safety car. As he almost crashed into it. As now, I want to say, safety car is in next lap. Yeah, Alonso P6. But yeah, we just wait as Lawson and Hadjar catch up once again. Lawson has caught up. Is Hadjar going to catch up though? As safety car is ending now. Is Hadjar going to get there? I don't think so. As we go back to green flags, Hadjar literally flat outing it. As we go back racing here now, Lando Norris leads to the 2 Red Bulls. Then Verstappen, Sainz, Alonso, Porsche, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, then Bottas. As we see here, Leclerc almost having a move done on him by his own teammate Oscar Piastri. But they keep composure and get their heads back down. But yeah, Lando Norris, amazing start procedure. He's already dropped the ball against the rest of the field. He's got 1.5 seconds in his hands. As now 3 laps to go here. Who's going to win? Who's going to get points? Who's going to even get on the podium? As you can see here, Charles Leclerc threatened by Piastri into turn 4. Didn't lose the place, however. as it really is a challenge to see who can work their way through the field most efficiently, as there's Antonelli overtaking Gasly. He needs 2 more places to get a point here, as Antonelli could knock his teammate out of points. That's going to be a big statement. Him basically asking his team principal to keep him. As you see there, Albon versus Lawson. Lawson up into P15 as Piastri and that have caught up to the leaders. As Verstappen is in P3. I did say at the start of the race I'm putting my money on Sauber. My money's still on it, because Max Verstappen is in 3rd and half a second off Norris, who is leading. DRS up into turn 1 we go. Oscar Piastri starts the final lap alongside with Norris. He will take the lead, but will he keep it for the remainder of this lap? Norris and Verstappen trying to get their way back past, as it looks very much like it could be a drag race to the line. Colapinto's just moved himself back up into the points where he started. He's in P10 now, as Norris again leads in this race. Oscar Piastri, he's going to have to find a really good exit to do it. He's going to get Norris DRS, but Norris will win here in Brazil. Piastri 2nd, Verstappen 3rd, Sainz 4th, and yeah, just chaos. As it was a drag race between Antonelli and Tsunoda for P11, but Charles Leclerc, heavy hit in that race, he finished P9 as a result.
I think you just have to.
But let's have a look at the race results. It's Lando Norris who takes home the win, 7 places gained, with Piastri in 2nd, Verstappen 3rd, Sainz in 4th, Alonso 5th, Porsche 6th, Ricciardo P7. From what looked like Alpine nowhere near the points for most of the race, 2 bagging some very healthy points for the team. Valtteri Bottas 8th, Charles Leclerc last to 9th. Round of applause for him, ladies and gents. Franco Colapinto 10th, Tsunoda 11th, 12th Antonelli, 13th Hamilton, 14th Lawson, 15th Albon, 16th Hadjar, 17th Gasly, 18th Behrman. Then the 2 Ferraris out of the race, with Max Verstappen getting fastest lap. For those who have watched from the start, thank you. For those who have just joined, sorry, but it's ending. And thank you for joining for these 28 seconds or whatever. And I'll see you all later for Formula Creator. Goodbye.